Okay, so
Hello,
continuing part.
we are continuing in the same way, Mansi. In the part one, what we had discussed, and it was a great clarity shown by Ashik. So I would love you to continue on the same lines, and let's try to have more understanding and also winding it up with I should say, clarity of thought and a beautiful interaction. Thank you.
Anji sir. So we were like, we have discussed how it has all happened. So I would just summarize this in two terms, two phrases. It was a result of unethical financial practices on the part of Russia or that entire nexus. And secondly, it was also the politico-economic nexus which made it possible. So
Mhm.
I have few questions to ask. Basically, I want to ask it to Oshik. So one question is, Russia being such a big power, why did it actually felt the need to infuse so much amount of money into Cyprus? What was the reason behind that?
Mhm.
What led Russia to do that?
Mhm. One very good question.
Basically, Russian banks were under the scanners of the US Federal Reserve and also the European Union. And Cyprus being a very small country, and Russia knew that the political executive can be used for its money laundering purposes. And it had also done in other countries also, such as Latvia, Lithuania, etc.
So,
So that is why.
Okay, so
any more point?
one more reason, sir, the historical ties also between Russia and Cyprus were also very strengthened. So
Correct.
that was also one of the reasons. And
Because because both in Russia and in Cyprus, we can say Greek Cyprus, what we are talking about, both of them are having religious similarities or religious ties. Both in both the places we find Catholicism, and that has been one of the greatest factor for having affinity and also bonhomie between the two.
Andy sir, so one more thing I have like in my mind, that in the context of India also, these like we have got the evidence and regarding the investigation that despite signing the double taxation avoidance agreement, still this thing happened. So like, what is the relevance of then having these DTAs? They are not useful. Still money laundering is happening. Still shell companies are being formed. So what do you have to say on the relevance of DTAs?
I think very good question. DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreement, so that you have to pay taxes only in the one country.
Yes, sir. Regarding DTA, the problem is that one has to pay tax in one country, but they want to avoid the tax overall. That is why they are building up the shell companies and through Cyprus or Mauritius, etc. That is why.
No, but
But
Because in
that
under
sounds
DTA, they have to pay the tax, but they do not want to pay the tax, basically. Overall procedure like that, sir.
so it
That is why the golden visa was given them,
So it
given to them.
helped Cyprus, but not India, because money laundering was happening and that was hampering India. But despite knowing that, because of the secrecy laws of the Cyprus, the information was not shared with Indian IT department also. So that can be one part of the reform to strengthen the DTAs. And other areas of concern, as we have talked about, there were political interferences even in the appointments to the, the major systematically important banks like the Russian Commercial Bank, which was functioning in Cyprus, and there were shell companies. Money laundering was happening because of that, and silent proxy economic war was basically being undertaken by Russia through Cyprus, and that basically money that was being infused in Cyprus, that was being misused to destabilize the democratic institutions even in the West. So that was also one of the major motives behind Russia infusing so much amount of money. And when we talk about the what reforms now can be done in order to basically, because we are in a globalized and interconnected world, even when we talk about the connectivity of the financial system at the global level, so we need some reforms, and in that also survivability of these tax havens, that also comes under scanner. So as a part of reforms, we talk about Swift system. So in Swift system also, we are changing the standards also. So the new standard that is being implemented is the ISO 200-22. So in that, basically, there is one kind of messaging system that is called MT. So we are transforming from MT to MX system. So in MX, we are using the XLV system. उसमें और ज़्यादा transparency होती है. So you can't basically hide the data. Plus, in sir, next part of reforms, like we are seeing Cyprus may, they are not putting the capital gains tax, or they're not putting the withholding tax. So withholding tax, if they'll be increasing the percentage of tax that they would imply, that would help in tracking the financial wealth of the non-residents who are investing in Cyprus. So they can increase the capital gains tax, they can put up the withholding tax in order to make the system more transparent and not result into a tax heaven, which would ultimately, it would backfire the Cyprus economy only in the long-term perspective. So they have also taken certain steps in the form of, they have closed the bank accounts also of the people who have been investing so much heavily in the Cyprus economy. So these were certain measures that they have taken. And FATF can also play an important role here, along with the European Central Bank. So stricter norms can be implemented by FATF in Cyprus. So these are some of the reforms which can be implemented in future in order to strengthen the system.
तो अभी तो जैसे मान लो इफ आई आस्क बोथ ऑफ यू, एनी वन ऑफ यू कैन आंसर. अभी तो हम साइप्रस की बात करते हैं, पहले हम मॉरिशस की बात करते हैं, कभी हम पनामा की बात करते हैं. व्हाट इज एट द कोर? अगर दो चीजें आइडेंटिफाई किए जाए इंडिया के लिए, हाउ इंडिया, obviously India is getting harmed both directly and indirectly by such developments. There are Indian residents involved in Indian economy. I would not say impacted, but then definitely it is an element of the whole economic process. So Ashik, what do you say? One point if you say, then one point Mansi can also say कि क्या ऐसा है जिससे हम अपने आप को और ज्यादा resilient बनाए, या इसके लिए IMF और World Bank की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उसके रिफॉर्म्स की बात करें, क्या उसका भी इससे कोई रिलेशन?
So first of all, sir, majority of the multilateral institutions such as IMF and World Bank, they are Western dominated. The standard are already standard are such that the big countries tend to manipulate their own rating. Then they tend to withdraw the normative power through these agencies. But sir, regarding India, I would like to add one thing, that role of ED must be expanded, like NIA Act can they can use UAPA against the particular person internationally. Same can be done for the ED also. I can.
Mansi, would you like to add one point?
So, in case of shell companies, जो money laundering हो रहा है या route tripping of money हो रहा है, वो Indian जो financial system, it causes security risk to that, instability हो सकती है, because that money in a way it gets invested into the Indian capital market. So transparency from basically FPIs, or what we have the participatory notes, so वहाँ पे we can strengthen more the KYC norms. So that can also help in identifying the source of that money, from where it is actually coming. So that anonymity element, that can be eliminated.
So which ministries do you think must be actively involved and they must be more proactive for India?
The Ministry of Finance and along with Ministry of External Affairs,
And
both can coordinate.
So Home Ministry also.
Home Ministry, and what about Ministry of Corporate Affairs also, MCA?
Anji.
Yes, sir.
Ministry of Corporate, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, and obviously Department of Revenue Intelligence, DRI, which is also playing an important role. So I think all of you have very wonderfully and also in very simple words, you have given an overview of the whole issue and also topic, which is very important for applied understanding कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है और उसको हम कैसे लेके चलें. So I thank both of you, and Prerna, could you please tell me one learning which you have taken from this?
Where it is, what I have understood is the use of the golden visa for money laundering, and Russia's interest in having a political power in the Cyprus.
Very good. Good points taken up. Thank you. Karuna?
So first of all, जो starting की थी geographical features से, वो उसमें clarity मिली, and जो overall proxy economy war जो चल रहा है उसके बारे में पूरी clarity मिली.
I like the word proxy economy war. Very good.
And सर एक और चीज कि जो Indian tax authorities थी, उनका क्या रोल था, उनके क्या challenges थे, उस पे थोड़ा और हम वर्क कर सकते हैं, थोड़ी और
हम्म,
क्लैरिटी
बता
आनी
दूं
चाहिए।
उस पे इंडियन जो टैक्स अथॉरिटीज है उनका क्या रोल है, वो अपनी जगह लेजिटिमेट रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं, लेकिन एनी कंट्री इज पावरफुल इफ इट इज इकोनॉमिकली वेरी पावरफुल। तो इंडिया की जो टैक्स अथॉरिटीज हैं या इंडिया के जो टैक्स ऑफिसर्स हैं वो वर्ल्ड की जो ग्लोबल बॉडीज हैं उनके साथ स्टैंडर्डाइज तरीके से, यूनिफॉर्म तरीके से लॉज को लेके चलते हैं, डिस्कशंस होते हैं। और इंडियन एम्बेसीज जो अब्रॉड है वहां पर भी एक ऑफिसर होते हैं। और इनकम टैक्स ओवरसीज यूनिट भी बनाई है हमने, लेकिन उनको और स्ट्रेंथन और टीथ देने की जरूरत है। सो वी आर इन द प्रोसेस टू डू सो। इट ऑल डिपेंड्स कि आपका इकोनॉमिक हेफ्ट कितना बड़ा है, आप एज ए पावरफुल कंट्री कितनी हो, तो ये चीजें काम आएंगी, नहीं तो काम नहीं आएंगी। सो वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स दैट। आंचल।
Sir, clarity on SWIFT norms and shell companies that I
Okay.
found new one.
थैंक यू। दिव्या।
सर, सेट ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग जोन्स की किस तरह से पास्ट लेके प्रेजेंट तक अभी भी हमें जो वॉर देखने के लिए मिलती है, स्विफ्ट के जो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस है रसिया के ऊपर, उनके ऊपर किस तरह से रोल है, या फिर वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर में किस तरह से चेंजेस आते हैं जो इम्पैक्ट करते हैं।
ओके, थैंक यू। एंड प्रवेश।
Sir, other points are already raised by everyone, and I will say that Russia's rush towards the Cyprus is also because of the Russia's desire to earn money via providing the domestic companies to have their bases in the Cyprus in the special economic zones, like the India is doing for the especially the ONGC Limited.
मतलब बेसिकली रशिया चाहता है किसी भी तरीके से ऑब्वियसली उसका कंट्रोल रहे, क्योंकि यूरोपियन सैंक्शंस हैं, और साइप्रस ने यूरोपियन यूनियन का एक तरीके से इंटरेक्शन और पार्ट होते हुए भी उसने उन चीजों को सबवर्ट किया, और समय आने पर ये बबल की तरह बर्स्ट हुआ। और अब उनको जिसे कहना चाहिए, स्पेशली आफ्टर द यूक्रेन रशिया वॉर, अब ज्यादा सिचुएशन प्रिकैरियस है, चीजें बबल की तरह बर्स्ट हुई, उनको रिफॉर्म लेने ही पड़े। इससे पता लगता है कि इकोनॉमिक मिस एडवेंचर्स कभी भी किसी कंट्री के लिए लाभदायक लॉन्ग टर्म में नहीं हो सकते। थैंक यू वेरी मच, एंड विशिंग ऑल ऑफ यू बेस्ट फॉर योर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक एंड स्टडीज इन शॉर्ट।